Life is full of challenges, difficulties, and failures. And if there's one thing that I know, is that it doesn't matter what I look like on the outside. Whether my brows are knitted, my shoulders are slumped, or I just look angry. What matters during my struggles is what's going on inside, that I'm standing tall inside of myself. Mr. Contest Chair, Toastmaster members, and guests, when was the last time that someone looked out for you? Or are you the person who looks out for others? In grade 2, I had an experience with a schoolyard bully. His name was Peanuts. He would pull my hair, kick me, slap me. He did whatever he could to hurt me and to ensure that I was scared of him. And this continued for days and days, and I was always told to stay farther away from him or go to the other end of the school ground, and it never worked. One day, he followed me home, and he promised and threatened that he was going to beat me up, and the only line of defense that I had was a lunch kit. He had stopped me on the side of the road, and he was threatening to punch me. When I grabbed that kit and I was holding on to it and I was trying to think of a way to protect myself, when I realized I could threaten him too. There was jam in my bucket. He said no there isn't, but he didn't know that, so it kept him off. It prevented him from hitting me while I came up with something better. I was stalling for time. Just about the time I was about to dig into my bucket to pull out that jam, that pretend jam, I saw his eyes get as big as teacups, and he started to run in the other direction. And then for a split second I thought, oh my God, I did it! When I saw my dad fly by me like a blur, chasing, screaming Peanuts down the road. That day my dad was a hero. Or what about the workplace harassment? As an adult, I had another experience where one person who didn't really like me convinced another person, and it became 3, and then before I knew it became 10. And there were huddles, group huddles, as they whispered and pointed their fingers during breaks and lunch hours, of which most of the time in the hallways I had to walk right past them and push through that circle of people. Later on, one time, I was in so much grief. I phoned my elder, and I was pouring out my pain, and I didn't know what to do, and she said to me in a very cryptic response, meet them at a higher level. I said, what? But they're taller than I am. No. I had to figure that one out myself. I got it. I came up with a plan. And then there was the failure. 2017. First time I went to a Toastmaster speaking contest. I won club. I went to area. In that area, I thought, oh my God, I'm on fire. And then I lost at district. And I felt totally like, why did I bother? I was such a failure. And as we drove home, my husband said to me, but you won that contest. I said, no, I didn't. He said, there's more to a contest. You left the message in the heart and the minds of the people, and that's what counts. And that moment changed my perception. When was the last time someone looked out for you? Back in grade 2, that day I discovered my dad was a hero and that he could run really fast. And that my standing tall in myself and really meant I realized I could get myself out of a fix, and that became conflict management later on in my life. Workplace harassment, I was told I always kept good notes. I put all those notes from my workplace that I took into a binder, and on a sticky note I put in a phone number. I charged down past that group of people one day with my shoulders thrown back, standing tall inside of myself, went to the administrator's office, put the sticky onto the binder, and said, "This is my lawyer's office. This is my lawyer's number on speed dial. Do we need to talk?" And from that day forward, there was a zero policy workplace harassment at that organization. Back to the public speaking. And I realized that it takes a lot of courage to stand up in front of you and share my message today with you. That standing tall inside of myself happens every time I'm up front talking in front of a group of people or an audience. My challenge to you is, be courageous. Courage is an inside job. If you don't believe in yourself, believe in the message that you're bringing to your listeners. Stand tall inside of yourself. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside, as long as that message is coming from you. Stand tall inside of yourself. Back to you, contest chair.